Deathstroke versus the Justice League. In Identity Crisis, the Justice League shows up to protect Dr. Light, and standing in their way is one guy, Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. Normally, you'd expect the League to steamroll anyone who's not packing god-level powers. Instead, Slade treats them like a warm-up drill. First up, Wally West, the Flash. Slade plants explosives and times a sword strike perfectly so Wally runs right into it. 1 second of hesitation, and Wally's out. Zatanna tries to get a spell off, but Slade drives an elbow into her ribs so hard she's doubled over. Hawkman swoops in. Bad move. Slade slices the straps on his wing harness mid-flight, sending him crashing down. Green Arrow steps up, bow ready. Slade snatches it away, spins, and takes out Black Canary before she can unleash her scream. Then there's Atom, who gets baited into growing full size thanks to a little laser pointer trick. Slade doesn't even need to hit him. The setup does the work. Finally, Kyle Rayner comes in swinging a Green Lantern construct. Slade sidesteps, grabs his wrist, and snaps his fingers mid-punch, ending that fight instantly. It's not just that he wins, it's the efficiency. Each takedown is fast, calculated, and perfectly timed, like he's been rehearsing this exact fight for years. The Justice League has speedsters, magic users, and alien tech all in one room, and none of it matters. Slade never panics, never rushes, just moves from one hero to the next until the room's silent. By the end, the League's lying in a heap, Dr. Light's untouched, and Deathstroke walks away looking like the most dangerous man in the DC universe. Black Panther versus Silver Surfer. In comics, some fights are epic battles of equals. This was not one of them. In Black Panther number 26, T'Challa, King of Wakanda, manages to do something that shouldn't even be possible. He locks Silver Surfer in a headlock, and it works. The scene plays out like a martial arts demonstration, except the opponent isn't a street-level brawler. This is Norrin Radd, the Herald of Galactus, a being who can manipulate matter, control gravity, travel faster than light, and turn intangible at will. Yet here he is, arms pinned, gritting out the words, "Unhand me," like a guy trapped in a sleeper hold at wrestling practice. The panel shows Surfer straining against T'Challa's grip while floating miles above Earth. No energy blasts, no teleporting, no using his board to break free. All those powers, cosmic awareness, telepathy, the ability to generate temperatures hotter than the sun, just sitting on the bench. The comic treats it as a legitimate standoff. T'Challa doesn't overpower him with brute force. There's no secret gadget here, no anti-surfer tech. It's framed as sheer skill, the kind that lets the Black Panther fight out of his weight class. The problem is, Silver Surfer's weight class is somewhere between War God and Planet Destroyer. By the time the scene ends, the moment's burned into your brain. The King of Wakanda, muscles locked in, holding back a cosmic powerhouse like he's clinching in a boxing match. It's the kind of thing that has fans flipping pages back and forth, wondering if they missed a panel where Surfer got his powers shut off. Spider-Man versus Firelord. In the Amazing Spider-Man numbers 269 to 2610, Peter Parker faces a problem that no street-level hero should ever have to deal with: a Herald of Galactus. Firelord isn't just a flashy name. He wields the power cosmic, controls flames hotter than a star, and has enough raw strength to level a city block without breaking a sweat. Normally, this guy's opponents are beings like Thor or Nova, but on this day, he gets Spider-Man. The fight starts with Firelord chasing Peter through the city, blasting anything in his path. Civilians are scattering, buildings are taking hits, and Spidey's pulling every dodge and wall crawl trick he knows, but then something flips in Peter's head. He stops running. The next few pages turn into one of the most relentless brawls in Marvel history. Spider-Man unloads on Firelord with a flurry of punches so fast the panels blur. We're talking 9-10 hits before Firelord can even lift his arms. And somehow, it works. The cosmic flamethrower starts backing up, stunned. Blow after blow, Spidey drives him down until Firelord collapses on the pavement. There's no trickery here, no borrowed power-up, no magic dampener. Peter doesn't scorch his hands, doesn't get disintegrated, and doesn't even look winded when it's over. The comic frames it as sheer determination. Spider-Man refusing to quit until the Herald falls. It's the kind of scene that sticks in comic book history because of how wildly it breaks the scale. One minute, you're watching a friendly neighborhood hero. The next, he's flooring a cosmic powerhouse who can trade blows with gods. By the end, Firelord is out cold. Spider-Man is still standing, and readers are left staring at the page, wondering how the hell the power cosmic just lost to New York's most overworked freelance photographer. Moon Knight. Mark Spector has had plenty of wild phases in comics: street-level vigilante, mystical avatar of Khonshu, even a fractured personality war inside his own head. But Avengers numbers 33 to 36 takes all of that and turns it into one of the most eyebrow-raising plot armor runs Marvel's ever printed. It starts with Khonshu deciding Earth's future is in jeopardy. His solution: give Moon Knight an unprecedented surge of divine power and send him on a one-man campaign to save the planet by taking down its biggest threats. And by biggest, we mean gods, sorcerers, and Avengers who've been saving the planet since Mark was in boot camp. The first target, Iron Fist. Moon Knight rips the power of Shou-Lao the Undying right out of him. Then it's Doctor Strange, and Mark yoinks the Eye of Agamotto like it's loose change. Ghost Rider rolls in. Moon Knight takes the Spirit of Vengeance itself, stripping Robbie Reyes of his flaming skull persona. It snowballs from there. Thor tries to intervene, and Mark summons Mjolnir straight into his own hands. Not because he's worthy in the classic sense, but because Khonshu's lunar magic manipulates the hammer's Uru metal, which was forged from a moon rock. That's right, Moon Knight steals Thor's hammer by exploiting its geology. By the end of this arc, Mark is packing multiple stolen powers and artifacts, casually defeating some of Marvel's heaviest hitters. And while the story plays it as Khonshu's divine mission, the sheer ease with which Moon Knight dismantles these icons reads like the plot bending to his will. Fans either love the audacity or rolled their eyes at the absurdity. The Sentry versus Molecule Man. The Sentry is already one of Marvel's most broken characters. The power of a million exploding suns isn't just marketing fluff. But in Dark Avengers number 12, Marvel takes that reputation and writes a moment so tilted in his favor that it's cemented as a prime plot armor showcase. Molecule Man isn't some mid-tier villain. Owen Reese can control matter and energy on a molecular level, which means if he wants to, he can dismantle you atom by atom without breaking a sweat. He's rewritten entire landscapes, nullified powers, and humbled cosmic-level beings. Against Sentry, the expectation is simple. One thought, and Bob Reynolds should be dust. But that's not what happens. Instead, when the fight starts, Molecule Man tries to take Sentry apart and fails. Sentry resists, reforms, and keeps coming. At one point, Reese literally turns Sentry into a pile of floating organs, and moments later, Sentry just pulls himself back together, completely unfazed. The comic frames it like sheer willpower is all it takes for Sentry to overcome a power that's basically unbeatable. Molecule Man, a guy who's gone toe-to-toe with the likes of the Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four with ease, ends up on the defensive. Eventually, Sentry forces him to back down entirely, flipping the fight in a way that makes it look like Reese's powers simply don't work on him anymore. Fans debate whether it's a hidden aspect of Sentry's abilities or just a case of the story refusing to let him lose. But no matter how you slice it, the end result is the same. A character who should have been outmatched survives an encounter with one of Marvel's most dangerous entities without any lasting damage. Catwoman. Tom King's Batman run gave Selina Kyle more than rooftop chases and jewel heists. It put her toe-to-toe with some of DC's deadliest fighters and somehow left her standing. One of the clearest cases is Batman number 35, where she squares off against Talia al Ghul in the desert. No bat gadgets, no last-second rescue, just swords and skill. Talia's not some mid-tier opponent. She's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, trained by the League of Assassins, a master swordswoman who's held her own against Batman. The duel starts with Talia pressing hard, forcing Selina to give ground. But then Selina turns it around, finds her opening, and disarms her. Talia, the same woman who's matched Bruce Wayne in combat, ends up on the ground with Selina holding her blade. And that's not the only eyebrow raiser from King's run. In another arc, Poison Ivy's mind control spreads across the globe, pulling even the fastest heroes under her sway. Barry Allen, Wally West, and Wallace West all fall in line. 3 speedsters, all headed straight for Batman and Catwoman. When they close in, Selina drops into motion. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3. Each speedster goes down before they can react. The panel lands with her standing tall, posing over 3 unconscious flashes. No trick arrows, no meta-tech trap, just clean takedowns presented like it's Tuesday in Gotham. Moments like these are why this run gets pulled into plot armor debates. Selina's always been one of Gotham's sharpest and most agile fighters, but here she's not just surviving impossible fights. She's winning them in ways usually reserved for the Bat himself. Deadpool. When you talk about characters who can survive anything, Wade Wilson might as well be the mascot. Deadpool's healing factor already makes him hard to kill. But in certain comics, it's like the laws of reality bend just to keep him moving. One of the clearest cases is Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. The story's premise is simple. Wade gets brainwashed, snaps, and decides every hero and villain in the Marvel Universe has to go. What follows is less assassin at work and more glitch in the game. Deadpool takes out heavyweights who should be far beyond his pay grade. He outmaneuvers SpiderMan, drops Hulk, kills Thor, and even outplays cosmic-level threats. There's no grand power-up, no reality-warping weapon in his back pocket, just Wade being written as the one guy nobody can stop. And it's not confined to one story. Across multiple runs, Deadpool walks into situations that should end him instantly and walks out without a scratch. Blown apart by explosives, still talking, decapitated, keeps fighting, dropped into impossible matchups. He either wins or escapes with a joke. The meta-awareness plays into it too. Deadpool Deadpool knows he's in a comic book, and writers sometimes lean on that like an invisible safety net. If the plot demands he live through something absurd, he will, even if it means shrugging off damage that would annihilate any other character. It's why fans and critics alike point to him as the embodiment of plot armor. The Punisher versus Ghost Rider. Frank Castle's reputation is built on grit, tactics, and an unshakable aim, but Punisher number 16-17 takes all that and throws him into one of the most absurd matchups ever printed, Frank versus Ghost Rider, and somehow lets him walk away on top. The setup starts with Frank tracking down Zadkiel, an angel with a blade forged by Mephisto himself. That sword has one unique trick. It can separate the spirit of vengeance from its host. Zadkiel's hand is hovering over the weapon, but Frank moves first, a blur past an actual celestial, and snatches it. No divine backlash, no flaming retribution. Just a guy in body armor stealing a god-tier artifact like it's a rifle off a gun rack. When Ghost Rider shows up, the fight kicks off hard. The rider wraps chains around Frank, hellfire blazing, and goes for the penance stare, a spiritual death sentence that's dropped some of Marvel's most dangerous killers. Frank's answer? I regret nothing, and it works. The stare fizzles. A man with decades of blood on his hands just shrugs off the one move Ghost Rider's built around. From there, Frank pulls every weapon he's got. Elsa Bloodstone's enchanted dagger carving into the rider's skull, Carter Slade's spirit-forged pistols firing point blank. Nothing sticks for long, but Frank keeps pressing. He even throws his stolen sword at Ghost Rider's head, caught midair by the rider's flaming hand, only to counter by yanking the chain, hauling the rider in, and knocking him cold. When it's over, Ghost Rider's down. Frank's still standing. No pact with demons, no supernatural powers, just a man with the right toys and a script that somehow lets him outfight the spirit of vengeance. For a street-level vigilante to manhandle a hellfire-wielding powerhouse like this, that's the kind of scene that leaves even Punisher fans double-checking the panels. Kingpin vs. Dr. Doom. Wilson Fisk has built his empire on intimidation, brute strength, and a knack for pulling strings. But in Amazing Spider-Man number 349, he finds himself in a situation that should be completely out of his league, standing across from Dr. Doom. Not a Doombot, not some underling in armor. The real Victor Von Doom, monarch of Latveria and one of Marvel's ultimate heavyweights. Doom arrives to strike a deal, expecting the usual mix of fear and deference. Instead, Fisk flips the script. He doesn't flinch, doesn't bow, doesn't even acknowledge Doom's reputation as anything more than another player in the game. The conversation turns tense, with Doom pressing harder, his temper starting to show. And that's when Fisk lands the blow, not with a punch, but with words. He essentially tells Doom to get out of his city unless he's ready to play by Kingpin's rules. It was the dominance, treating one of the smartest, most dangerous men in the Marvel universe like a street thug who wandered into the wrong neighborhood. Doom leaves. No vaporizing Fisk on the spot. No sending him to the negative zone. Just leaves. The scene makes it look like Fisk stood his ground so firmly that even Doom decided it wasn't worth the fight. On paper, it's absurd. Doom has faced gods, stolen the powers of the Silver Surfer, and even challenged the Beyonder. Yet in this moment, he lets a crime boss dictate the terms. The story frames it as sheer force of will, the kind that makes Kingpin a legend in New York's underworld. Batman. When people talk plot armor in comics, Bruce Wayne is almost always at the top of the list. Prep time has become a meme, a catch-all explanation for him surviving the impossible, and sometimes the stories really lean into it. In Final Crisis, Batman faces Darkseid, a god with omega beams that erase you from existence. Bruce pulls a radion bullet and fires. Not disables Darkseid, not distracts him, shoots him, and it lands. This is the same event where he reprograms the Hellspores, weapons capable of planetary destruction, on the spot. No lab, no weeks of planning. Just Bruce standing in the heart of Apocalypse's doomsday system and rewriting its code mid-crisis. Then there's the Batman, endgame Justice Buster armor. The Joker toxin has the entire Justice League coming for him, and Bruce uses a suit designed to neutralize each one. Aquaman's down. In one strike, Diana's lasso gets countered, and Flash eats a fall thanks to a frictionless coating laid down while he's only at cruising speed. One-by-one takedowns of the League's biggest hitters delivered like he's checking names off a grocery list, but some moments push the mythos so far, you can hear fans groan through the page. Like the time Batman drop-kicked the Spectre. DC's literal spirit of divine vengeance, the guy who judges souls, takes a boot to the face from Bruce and even looks like it hurts. Batman admits afterward he didn't think it would work. He just wanted to make the Spectre feel better. Somehow, that makes it funnier. And then there's the urban legend level fight where Batman goes barehanded against the entire Justice League and wins. No gadgets, no suits, just fists and stubbornness. The comics never give a clear context for how it's possible, and without an explanation, it sits there as one of the most baffling "he wins because he's Batman" moments in print. Bruce's legacy thrives on outsmarting impossible odds, but scenes like these aren't about clever tactics. They're about giving the Bat the last panel no matter who's in front of him, God, demon, or alien. And in Gotham, that's not a cliche. That's Tuesday night. So, which plot armor got your attention the most and why? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.